Okay, here we have page 13, and we don't have all of the pages of the Codex Argenteus. So on the first page, just starts in the middle of Matthew, and here we have another break in the text. So the sentence in English, because we don't have like all of the Gothic sentence, I'll just show you. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. So let's see what the Gothic has for this. So it starts with Yana, and presumably at the end of the previous page, it said like to, and then here we have Yana Isles mans. So that men should do to you, and that matches up with what we have in this, so that men should do to you. So also you all should do to them. And that's what we have here. Do ye even so to them. Thata og istwitoth yach prophetes. For that is the law and the prophets. So that catches us up to where we were. I'm Inrangeth derch angudor. So inrangan. So inrangan. It is composed of in and rangan. Rangan means to go, and then in is a prefix like into, sort of. So enter is what this word means. Ther angudor. So enter through the narrow door. Unte bread door jachrumswigis sabringana infraloste. For like broad door and spacious way, the one bringing in temptation. There's no word ist here. You might notice that. There's no word like to be. So in English we would say like broad is the door, like the door is broad. But in this case it's just not needed because it's implied. So because broad is the door and spacious is the way, the one bringing in. So here we could just replace this with that if we're translating into English. So broad is the door, and spacious is the way that brings into temptation. But here we have the one bringing in. So you wouldn't really say it like that in modern English, but both make sense, and that's just how Gothic is saying it now. That could also be because that's how Greek says it. We don't really know that too much about like actual like Gothic, how the Goths would say things. Most of what we have is just a word-for-word translation from Greek. And Yachmanege sinned, and here this N is suspended, so it's sinned, not Sid or Sith. Yachmanege sinned, the ingelithandans their thata, and many are they, the ones going through that. So there are many who like go through that door. Juan angu thatador, jach hans weeks, sa bringanda in livene, jach fawe sind, the vegetandans thana. So Juan is like related to when, but in this case it means how. So if you're asking like, oh, how big is that? How narrow is that? How whatever. we use Juan and not Huewa, even though you might expect Huewa, because Huewa is like how and Juan is when. But that's just what you do. Hon angu thatodor, jach threhan swigs, sabringanda in livene ja fawe sind the vigitandan stana. So how narrow that door and crowded is the way, bringing into how narrow is the door and crowded is the way, the one bringing in life, and few are those that find it, the ones finding it. So vegeton means to find. That's related to English beget, but whether it means like whether it could also mean beget is like to beget a son or whatever, that's not attested. Might mean that, might not. But in any case, here it means to find, and vegetandans means finding, and it's the plural, so few are the ones finding it. Atse with suetho foraliugna profitum them ise quimand at isuis in vastium lambe. Uh, so basically, like, heed that you don't so liugna prophetum means like false prophets, and fora is like before them. So like it's basically saying like be careful before false prophets. Them is a quimand at isuis in vastium lambe. Those ones coming at you in the clothes of sheep, but inathros and wolfos wilwandans, but inside are there like like rampaging wolves. I think wilwan means. Beakranam is ufkunethins, by their fruits, and here we have an M, but it's being suspended up here. So this is what the M looks like. It's different from the M. It has these like three, whereas the N is like this. By their fruits you shall know them. Ufkunnan is the verb here, and it's second person plural. Ins is them, and is there. So by their fruits, akran is fruit, but then it's data plural, so it's akranam. Ive lisan, and I should specify that the stress is always at the beginning, so it's akranam, not akranam. I just did that to like stress that that was what the ending was like. Ive lisan afthornum wina vasya etho afwigadinum smakans. So this is basically, there's no question mark here, so it might be like confusing trying to read it. But basically, this is a question, and ive is basically, it's like the opposite of new. So new is like, if you would say like, So in English you could say like, aren't they coming? And that's like, so if you say aren't they coming, that implies that you expect that they are coming. Um, and then this could be maybe how you would say like, the opposite of aren't they is like surely they aren't coming, like as you expect the answer to be like no they aren't coming, and if you say new, then you expect that they are. Anyways, so we have ive, so are gathered lisanda af thornum winavasya. So this is a bit hard to like, but anyways, winabasi is a grape. So winabase, it comes from win, which means wine, and so that means wine. It comes from Latin vinum, and then basi is a fruit. It's like a berry. So a wine berry is a grape. Now thornum is pretty straightforward. It uh, comes from this, like, and then that in English becomes like thorn or thorn, um, and there should be like a thing there. But in Gothic, you get like it becomes thorn, which is more or less the same as it is in English, and it means the same thing. It means a thorn. So are gathered from, surely not like are gathered like grape thorns, or etho afwigadinum smakans. So smaka is a fig, and then we have wigadinum, which is kind of like a weird word. It's only tested the once, so we don't really know what the nominative singular would be. Well, like what it could be, like a few different things. But in any case, it means like the I think like thistles or something. I'm not sure. Um, I'm pretty sure it's only tested like the once. So like I'm not really sure exactly what this means. Swa albagme hodeze akrana godat gotoyeth. So all trees, uh, and then this is genitive plural, so it's all of the trees, all of the good trees, because it has followed by rodeze. So all of the good trees uh, produce gotoyeth uh, akranagoda. And I think the reason it's gotoyeth and not gotoyand is because of this, like, uh, all, which is, I think, singular. So it's like all of the good trees does good fruit. Not exactly how we'd say that in English. And then it ends ithsa, and that's how the page ends. So this Ithsa isn't really enough to really I can't remember how the next page starts. So I guess that's it for today.